Okay, so here's another little issue that I'm having, is that we're running into what would appear to be discrepancies when it comes to credibility, when it comes to these neural net cyber rape issues. And in fact, they're really what's been happening is that Elon Musk has actually ran around and tried to discredit me using AI with some of his friends. I think some of the other tech billionaires. And what they've done is they've taken my face and they've ran like an alternate ID using an alternate dialogue using AI through these neural nets, like over the military networks. And they've used my ID to try to make me look bad in the midst of me talking about this information because they don't want to be hit with statutory rape. Now, overall, in contrast to the rest of the charges that will go out, which are attempted murder, grand larceny, stalking, harassment, penalty of perjury, and then also high treason via what happened with the Mountbatten family. I mean, these charges overall are not. I guess they're not as could be considered as serious, but in light of their reputations, in light of their careers, those charges hit just as hard, even though it's like it's like over a cyber rape issue, or like a cyber like an informational discrepancy issue. So the penalty of perjury charges essentially carry with them high treason, because in the midst of this, they actually impersonated me and misrepresented me in front of the Mountbatten family, in front of the Crown of England. So this is why these charges carry like a heavier toll now, and why there's been a hard time for me to get this information out, because they keep editing and censoring things. There's quite a few guys in the military that were doing this, ran through and did this, and thought they'd get away with it whenever they attacked Daisy Isabel Jazz Ridley. And in the meantime, they tried to bribe and say a bunch of other things to try to entice this woman away from me. And they also try to make her look really bad to me. So that was another thing that I kind of ran into, was that, I think they were trying to get me to pursue an attempted murder charge on her. And that's definitely something that I've spoken about openly, only because it's been hard to get the help. And in the meantime, they've been trying to damage my brain and my testes, in which I'm going to know the difference when it comes to my own physical body when I'm like going through something. So you can't say that I have no idea what's taking place in my own body. And I've had other people say, okay, well, this is a mental health issue or something. How can this be a mental health issue when I'm not in a penitentiary? I'm not in a mental institution. I'm walking around public. I'm living essentially a normal life, but I have all these guys jumping on me and trying to attack me because they're a bunch of creeps. So I've had several, and a lot of these guys are actually wealthy. There's several of them that are very, very wealthy, and they're trying to hide some of these little issues, maybe pertain to their family, or pertaining to some of their friends, or so on and so forth, they might do business with. And so these are like millionaires and up, but they do employ a lot of other different people that don't have access to that type of wherewithal. So that's another issue that has come along, where they can basically buy these teams off cheaply, buy out partitions of AI as stock for this, and then throw the AI at me, activate people out in the public, and you can put, at their income level, they can put nanotech in people easily, have the nano interlace with their brain, put AIs in their brains, connect them to the network, and then they can connect to me because they have my IP, and they'll connect them to me, and then they'll just start doing a bunch of random things, like trying to make me look bad. People wear my identity, run around up there, and try to make me look bad in all kinds of different ways. So one of the main things, they've gone around over the military networks and made a bunch of death threats using my face and my identity towards a lot of other wealthy people, and it's really ridiculous. They're all these statements are going to have to come to the forefront at a physical location, in a sanction, in a court sanction. So I'm not entirely sure why they would bother to even do this, because all of this information is so specific that one couldn't be lying about this. And also the censored posts, they don't really help it, because there's a lot of censored posts. Like there's one talking about how Daisy Isabel Jazz Ridley refuses to talk, and why would that even be censored? because their name is being used. Like plenty of people say things online with their name being used, and then you might say, okay, well, it's controversial material. Well, Daisy Isabel Jazz really still at this point, I've asked for her multiple times to come and talk to me so I can clear my own name, because I'd be able to clear my own name, and they refuse. They try to keep her away from me. They've used AI autonomous weapon systems to try to keep her away from me, and they're absolutely not like allowing her to talk. Like hardly at all to me whatsoever, and they put a bunch of guys on her. They use the same thing. They master identities using AI. They attack her with autonomous weapon systems, and this is not lethal autonomous weapon systems, but it is autonomous weapon systems and various other AIs. They've used forms of AGI over the networks to try and hide this. A lot of different things. So several people's careers on the line, and there are actually several people high up in the military whose careers are on the line. They just can't move out of the way, and they can't really accept the fact that they got caught in the act. They got cocky with me, and they start taunting me, and I pretty much remember like everything. So I have a really, really, really good memory. And these guys have tried to attack various allocations in my brain in an attempt to lower my intelligence before we get into these bouts. So, and then also the reproductive system issue thing. I have pictures of what my reproductive system looks like right now with the blood flow taken away from it. There's no arguing with physical proof, because my reproductive system has never been like that. I'm basically like in a good place. That's one way to say it. But like, I'm well endowed, and so it's very easy for me to tell the difference if my genitalia are always one way, and then all of a sudden they change, and I can tell the difference between my blood flow alterations taking its course over maybe 30 seconds, and my entire genital area changing just like that with a blood flow thing. So these guys are just absolutely lying, and they're all just trying to dodge. And there's the politicians, there's military personnel, there's scientists, engineers. You have people from the public even that they brought up here to do this on these networks. There's all kinds of actors, there's artists, all kinds of people. They even mentioned directors. They mentioned like some commanders. They mentioned a general. So there might even be special teams. I mean, this spans into a lot of different things. There's royal family members. So there's all this giant thing on me to try and like make fun of me and to do this, but over essentially nothing. And they don't really have any strong material. There's like no strong material whatsoever. And I have attempted murder, I have grand larceny again, stalking, harassment, penalty of perjury. I would have high treason behind me, but they're trying to keep the Mountbatten family from finding out about this fully. And so I would have more UK support. I would have more support from the UK in the sense of possibly some of the Rothschilds, and then the Mountbatten family definitely.